Hey K-Drama fam, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about S-Line starring Lee Soo-hyuk, Arin and Lee Da-hee. Mysterious red lines are seen over people's heads through special glasses connecting them to their intimate encounters. And it exposes all the drama, secrets and scandals. S-Line's last episode 5 and 6 just dropped at Wave, and I'm here to break them down and explain the ending. Let's get on to it. S-Line episode 5 starts with Han reflecting on his past. He never had big dreams, just wanted to live freely. But life had other plans, especially after becoming Sona's guardian. With the red line revealing glasses on, Han starts seeing the truth. Who's connected and who is not. His suspicions grow, so he convinces Ji-won, Sona's date, to tag along for a surprise visit to Sona at the hospital. But there's no red line between them. None. That's when Han starts questioning everything and starts digging into Sona's past relationships. Back at home, Hyun Heup is texting with her friends, who are planning a surprise birthday party for her. The next day at school, she's stunned to spot a classmate with 4 red lines. Meanwhile, Han is listening to a report about S assault. He heads to the school to investigate and starts observing students with such red lines. And more importantly, he notices that teacher Kyu Jin has none. Han and his team try questioning Han about the assault case but don't get very far. At the school, Hyun Heup sees Han wearing the red line glasses. He brushes it off saying he's just testing them, but Hyun Heup is not convinced. She calls him out asking why the forensic team isn't handling this instead, especially since the glasses are tied to such a serious case. She scolds him for using them so casually now that she understands their power. As their voices rise, Kyu Jin steps in. Hyun Heup leaves immediately, leaving Han in an awkward moment. Before leaving, he nervously asks Kyu Jin for dinner but brushes it off because he's embarrassed. But as he walks off, Kyu Jin smiles after him. Supposedly, maybe she also sees the red lines on him. Han continues his investigation by visiting Gina's entertainment agency. They insist she was let go for not putting in enough effort. Teaming up, Dong-shik questions Han Yu and takes a peek at his phone, while Han speaks separately with Gina and their mother. During the conversation, Han quietly tests glasses, but he finds no S-line between Gina and Han Yu. In the neighborhood, Hyun Heup waits for Han and checks his glasses. Han warns her they might be dangerous, but they could help people too. She also mentions that just a week ago, Gina had no S-lines. That clue pushes the detective to rush over to Han Yu's house. Meanwhile, Hyun Heup visits the hotel, reflecting on her conversation with Han. It's a strange coincidence that the glasses first appeared where she works. Chun-son, worried, follows her inside. She shares with him what she sees above people's heads, and then they kiss. Back at Han Yu's building, the detectives dig through donation bins and they find the missing sheets that are from Han Yu's room. During questioning, they ask why Gina's blood was on them. Han Yu brushes it off with an excuse. But when Han reviews the CCTV footage, he spots S-line on 4 guys. In a school hallway, Hyun Heup notices 4 guys with S-lines that connect with Gina. She calls Han right away, but he's already at the school. The detectives bring all 4 in and Han quickly singles out the weakest one. They take him to the crime scene, and it doesn't take long before he breaks. Soon enough, in separate confessions, all the boys admit of their wrongdoing, but they point their fingers on Han Yu as being the mastermind behind the entire assault. Though Han Yu insists he wasn't the one who did that, Han still convicts him for pulling the strings. Han drops Hyun Heup at the bus stop and rushes to the care home after getting a call that his father is missing. Checking the hospital CCTV footage, they spot a woman leading her father to a car that actually looks like teacher Kyu Jin. With growing suspicion, Han hurries towards Sona's hospital room, while instructing Dong-shik to dig into Kyu Jin's background. Inside Sona's room, Han notices her S-line curving toward the doorway. Moments later, his father walks in, leaving Han stunned. He is shaken, he is broken, and the scene is so emotional, I had tears in my eyes while watching it. S-Line episode 6 opens in a cafe where a woman receives explicit video of herself. Later at her university class, it is clear that she is the center of unwanted attention. Back home, she hides under her blanket, crying as threatening messages are received on her phone. That night, overwhelmed and desperate, she steps into the traffic, only to be stopped just in time by Kyu Jin. Before parting ways, Kyu Jin gently handles her the mysterious glasses. We cut to Hyun Heup waiting at the bus stop for Junson. She quietly asks him for a favor, which leads them to a hotel room. Afterwards, she notices a glowing S-line now linking both of them. As Junson walks her towards the bus, he suddenly dashes off to buy her a cake. Left alone, Hyun Heup watches her red line between them fade. Turning towards the noise, she sees Junson impaled with what appear to be metal rods. In that instant, she's overcome with the feeling that she is cursed. Seconds later, her phone buzzes with a disturbing video of her friend. Bound and terrified, sits beneath a banner that reads, "Happy 17th. At the end, there's a cryptic message, which is an invitation to the Room of Boundaries. Panic rising, Hyun Heup wastes no time and calls Detective Han for help. While driving, Han remains preoccupied by Sona's S-line. Hyun Heup interrupts his thoughts, revealing that someone has been counting down till her 17th birthday, implying that something is expected of her. She shows him the unsettling messages on her phone. Han begins connecting the dots, how Hyun Heup was lured to school, how the glasses ended up in his hands. Could it all trace back to the same person? He also comes to know that her Kyu Jin teacher doesn't even exist. Together, they rush into the school towards the glowing classroom. Hyun Heup finds her friend inside who claims that she called Hyun Heup here. The girls try to leave and find Han, but no matter what they try, they always come back to the same floor, while Han is unable to find them because all of them are in the same place but in different dimensions. Meanwhile, Han heads to the roof after hearing a door creak. The girls hear it too and follow the sound, but they end up at the rooftop of the school. Meanwhile, Han is entered into a room. Han approaches a group of people, overhearing a woman about how lucky she is to get these glasses. The woman testifies that ever since receiving the glasses, she has found a new purpose. Each time she kills someone, one S-line disappears. As she lifts her knife over a bound man, she declares she's ready to cut her final sin and be reborn. Han watches in horror as Kyu Jin approaches with a lot of S-lines at her head, millions of S-lines, radiating from her like a web of death. Her lines were 100 times more than him. When she notices him, she reveals Han's father, bounded, bloodied, and barely conscious. With a chilling calm, she offers Han the knife, asking if he truly wants to save Sona. He lunges at her, but she effortlessly disarms him and drives the blade into his father. Han fires his gun, but the bullet ricochets off her unfazed. As she closes in, she seizes Han by the neck, and her power is undeniable. On the school's rooftop, Hyun Heup tries to explain her friend what's going on when she sees that her friend is actually wearing those glasses. Suddenly, Gyeongjin lunges at her, trying to strangle her. In this struggle, Hyun Heup shatters those glasses, snapping Gyeongjin back to her senses. Disoriented, she looks up and notices Hyun Heup's eye color has changed and there is a cut on her cheek that has blood floating in the air. Suddenly, Hyun Heup finds her in the middle of a crowd encircling Kyu Jin. As the others remove their glasses and close in on her, Kyu Jin raises a sword, poised to strike. Just as the blade comes down, Hyun Heup's mother steps in, shielding her daughter, and collapses from the blow. With her final breaths, she confesses she had worn the glasses too, and it had nothing to do with Hyun Heup. Hyun Heup charges at Kyu Jin, impaling herself on the blade, but instead of falling, her blood floats upward in suspended droplets, as if drawn by an invisible force. Glowing red lines erupt from her body, pulling her toward a pulsating ball of crimson light. Moments later, she is lowered gently to the ground, but lifeless. Just then, as Kyu Jin watches, Hyun Heup attacks her by piercing her with a hidden blade. But Kyu Jin only smiles. "It's too late," she whispers. Panic erupts as the crowd starts screaming. In an instant, Han, Hyun Heup, and Gyeongjin find themselves back on the rooftop, Han reaches for his glasses, but they slip from his grasp. Down on the street, people are in awe. Now everyone can see those lines. On a new day, everyone wears their helmets to hide their faces from the S lines. Hyun Heup reflects on finally feeling normal. Sona has awakened from her coma and has been reborn without an S line. But for Hyun Heup, she visits Johnson's grave and then she hears a voice calling her name. It's Kyu Jin. Now let me explain S line's ending. Who is Kyu Jin? Someone who is working toward a so-called rebirth, a world where everyone can see S lines. How does Sona wake from her coma? Possibly as a result of her rebirth, as her grandfather is dead. What happens to Detective Han? It seems he returns to his old self and now he is protective of his niece, and their relationship has noticeably improved. I loved the concept and the creativity behind the series, but I did not like the finale episode 6. It was a bit disappointing. While I understand that it is based on a webtoon and the supernatural is part of a story, it feels like the show was building toward a profound revelation only to be abruptly shift towards paranormal twist to tie things up quickly. In the finale, it is revealed Lee Kyu Jin, played by Lee Da-hee, the high school teacher, was behind the mystery red S lines that caused so many deaths. The ending emphasizes that S lines are not just visual symbols. They are a chilling metaphor for how society masks judgment and intimacy. The story ends on a haunting note, reminding us how if some truths are uncovered, can't be hidden again. And that seeking truth often comes with a heavy price. Has S-Line been renewed for season 2? As of now, Wave has not renewed for S-Line season 2 and there is no season expected. Well, this was all from my side, and if you're as hooked as I am to the drama or movie reviews, don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop your comments in the comment section below. I'll see you next time. Bye!